Cristiano Ronaldo, Suey.
What are you saying?
I'm just using all the Gen Z buzzwords. I'm lying. I love this. It is really hot in this room. So we're in the new studio.
I might have to.
It's set up for the most part. We're back. It's been a year and a half, maybe. It's been a long time. A lot has changed.
When it was in my basement, which was after COVID, early COVID, I had finished our renovation. So when was our last?
Well, you didn't have a baby.
No.
So this was
September. It was like September 2020, I think.
I think it was last year. No, I think it was last year. I think it's exactly a year ago.
Did our last episode?
1 year.
All right.
I have a feeling it was 1 year ago exactly, or
to this date,
like practically to this date.
All right. Bet
we'll figure it out. But it's been a minute. Right now, we're currently watching the World Cup. Today is, as you can see with what I'm wearing, if you're watching this, I'm wearing an Alphonso Davies shirt. It is the World Cup first Canadian game today against Belgium at 2:00. This is right before that we're shooting this. So by the time this is out, obviously we will know the score. I am predicting a tie. Okay, so I'm predicting a tie. I'm coming out and saying it. I think Canada has a great team this year. I think we have 5 world-class players. We have one of the best midfielders in the MLS. We have one of the best midfielders in Portugal. We have one of the best strikers in the world, but definitely in France for sure. He has like 5 goals in like 13 games. It's ridiculous.
What that face was for.
I don't know what that face was for, but
I have every faith in your footy.
And that's not even mentioning Alphonso Davies, the best fullback in the world. That's arguable. He's probably top 3 or 4, but that's just saying something. I think we have a really good team this year. And if Saudi Arabia could beat Argentina, and if Japan could beat, which Japan also has a very good team, but Japan could beat whoever they just faced, Germany. Holy crap!
Everything vibrates a little more in here right now.
Yeah, I think we have a good chance. So it's excited. We're having the Elevate watch party today. Which is going to be exciting.
Is it just like 4 people?
Yeah, it's going to be like, no, it's going to be the whole office. What do you mean?
Hell yeah.
All the PMs, all the leasing team, you and I. It's going to be good. I think the coffee shop's going to come in. So yeah, so the last year we've had so many changes.
It's been 2 years.
It has been 2 years.
October 6th, 2020.
No, can't be.
Yes, it can be.
I'm.
Everyone's leaving Toronto. Remember, that was the last. I got a lot of hits. But
was it
October 6th, 2020?
What did we do last year?
Nothing at all. We closed a bunch of deals because the market was a shit show. But nothing at all. 2020. Yeah, it's been a while. I also can't believe I've been in that house for that long.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
No.
That's what happens.
Oh my goodness.
The globe shuts down and
so much has changed.
So a lot.
Phil is a dad. We're no longer Phil and the kid because Phil literally has a kid now, so it just doesn't make sense. I've been replaced.
Phil and the kid and
I've
just some guy.
I think my name is now making the title in some way. So
this might get posted under the same category. We'll probably go back and change it all. The name is a work. Like we are still working on a title. So
Phil has a baby.
Thanks. That's my news to spoil.
I've spoiled it 3 times already. Taken over as the kid. I am no longer his son.
He never. That was fucking weird. Never was.
So tell me a little bit about what you've done, other than the many deals that have been closed, and this year has been insane. It's been literally a roller coaster. I don't think anybody predicted what would happen to interest rates this rapidly. I mean, we all knew they were going to go up. But
predicted it. They were like, we're going to just hold for a while, and then surprise.
Yeah, it really, it was unprecedented. It was really a toss up, and I don't think, if we go back at the beginning of this year, I don't think anybody predicted this really. So
no, not to this. I mean, the writing was on the wall, I will say, and I mean, even in the beginning of the year, as things were kind of rocketing off, you could tell that people that had kind of, I guess, were more in the know, something wasn't right with the pace at which it was climbing, and there was some form of correction of some variety was due. The pace at which it happened is shocking. That's all.
Yeah, the January to March was insane, and at the time, everybody I spoke to, mortgage agents, realtors, even just general investors, all thought it would continue for months because the cons of them raising interest rates so quickly. I mean, we've yet to see really the total impact, but I mean, if you look at headlines in the news, all these tech firms laying off 10-20% of their workforce, and these are jobs that are making $200,000-$300,000 a year, so they're not entry level jobs. These are like the top jobs you can get, and those people are going unemployed. And how are they going to find work when every single tech firm is now laying off people? And that's just tech. Across the board, you go through everything.
Quickly that switch flipped when it was like the job market was a job hunter's dream.
Oh yeah,
earlier on in the year, right?
Well, the memes,
especially
right?
in tech, people jumping companies, working from home,
like $500,000 a year,
Nova Scotia for a California-based company or whatever, and that script has flipped quite quickly. Interesting.
Yeah. So the beginning of the year was really crazy. I mean, last year, the end of last year.
Why don't we run through
crazy.
What's happened since we stopped? Not even just the beginning of the. I mean, I guess people have seen what's happened in the market in the last 2 years, but where have we been? What have you been doing since we stopped?
Oof.
Weren't you a fledgling property manager or something when we?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we last spoke, I was in sales, I was in property management, and I was in leasing. I was crushing 100+ leases a year. So that was a fun time. Nowadays, I've in the last couple of years, I've scaled back the leases quite a bit. So now I'm just doing couple, like maybe a couple dozen leases just here and there. More for some clients and family and friends
and family.
Yeah, it's more like that. It's not as normal, and the reason is Elevate's grown
quite a bit.
Yeah, tremendous.
Wow,
2 years ago when we left off, it was me and one other property manager.
Yeah,
and
Larissa, right?
No, I think Larissa. I think last time we spoke, Larissa was probably just in the picture, just coming in, and so like from there, it was a small team of like 3 people, and now there are, I believe, 4 or 5 property managers alone, and 1 or 2 leasing. It's grown. So yeah, I spent one of the large reasons we stopped recording is because it was just so busy. It was a busy time for everybody. So I didn't really have much time to shoot anything.
Nope.
And then it was great. We brought Larissa on board, and so I helped a little bit in the training there, and she took the ball and ran with things, and then her and I helped train most of the team. I mean, she did a lot of it. I'm not taking any credit for that, but
I've noticed, even still, this is a real side tangent, but when I see Larissa like train someone new, or like just some kind of mentorshipy type thing to someone new, immediately I think, oh God, I'm glad I'm not in that. Like I'm so glad that there is someone better suited. In that position.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
me training people is not
and no, and I'm sure you didn't, like, because you helped train me on a couple things, because you did the position I did before me. So you helped, and it wasn't that. It was just, I think, when somebody really wants to do it, because I don't think you and I wanted to be in that position ever.
Not our forte. She's really good.
She's really good, and she loves it. So like the team's grown so much now that now when we do get our leases, we don't have to necessarily do them ourselves for the most part, and we have a team that does it and specializes in it. So
that's it, right?
It's really good.
Instead of being we've grown enough that there's a little bit of segmentation. You don't have to be the jack of all trades to pull off every piece of the puzzle, right? There's someone who's dedicated to each piece of the investing life cycle that we can quarterback whatever.
It depends on the market too, right? Like this year was a roller coaster. The last 12 months really was a roller coaster, and there were times where you're working with 10, 15 clients, going out showings every single night, putting in offers every day. Leases are you don't have the time to do that. And having the leasing team is really good. But then as a roller coaster goes up, there's downs and there's slower times. When they started increasing the interest rate, there was a few months there where a lot of people, that 10, 15 clients turned into 4 or 5 that are like, maybe we'll see. So then I mean, leases, you can take them on a little bit more, and because you know what, my thing too is, if you're going to be doing a lease, if you're going to be working with a client, you have to be very picky, because you want to give them 110%. And you want to, there's times in any job, and me included, I'm sure you included, there's been times where you're like really busy and you're like, oh, I can give 100% here, but I'm already giving 100% here, and it's really tough to juggle everything.
Yeah.
Leases are the first thing that you have to say.
Yep.
You know what? This couple weeks I'm really busy. Could someone tag in here and help out with it? And it's totally fine. And I think we're part of a team as well that there's been times where I know you've been super busy, I've been super busy, and we've had, you know, either Simon, Billy's tagged in for me for a buyer's visit before, and you know, name it, everybody's done something to pitch in during the busy time. So it's just a really good system. So I guess for me, transitioning out of that a couple years ago, and now, you know, not touching that as much. I mean, I'm still there a little bit, still doing some property management and leasing, but personal stuff,
more
like
advisory
stuff. Exactly. That's the big thing now, instead of, you know, working with our portfolio, but and just crushing deals. I mean, really just crushing deals. As Sam does it, as Sam says in our client intros, this is how I'm introduced now. It's Spiro, our investor sales. I don't know what that means, but that's what she uses, and our investor sales, and had the most deals closed in the beginning of the year.
Savage. Just gotta flex that.
Yeah, I did, because it means the second half I probably didn't have the most.
I would like to let the audience know that I had a baby at the beginning of the year.
I think this is a good segue. Wait, you had a baby and closed how many deals that week?
4 or 5? I don't know. It wasn't too much. To your earlier point, it is very important to be a part of a team that can help out when others are a little bit busy, occupied.
Yeah.
There was I think I was texting Simon like in the delivery room because he was working on a deal for me.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm a great father, I promise. And husband. That's.
So you had a baby.
I guess that's the segue.
And everything's been
what's happened since. So yeah, we cut off the podcast a while back. We had just moved into our new house. We've been in there for a while. Work was up and down. 2021 was, I guess, just as far as like, if you're a real estate agent in 2021, everyone knows it was a pretty great year. Numbers still worked on a lot of stuff. Then coming into 2022, stuff started to make less sense for a brief period of time. Conveniently, that was also right around the time my daughter was born. So it was a kind of a good time to take a bit of a vacation, if you will, as the market started to kind of tank and nobody.
It wasn't a vacation. You literally had a baby. It was like pat leave practically.
It was. It was pat leave, but there was thankfully there
COVID
also
baby.
Just wasn't much to do like work wise. Right?
That's true.
It was a good time for people to just kind of like, and a lot of people were just watch the market, wait till things stabilize a little bit. And that, I mean, that's kind of the period of time where you pick up some leases here and there or whatever, right? But
I think that was the tipping point. I think right before that was the high that we saw, and then interest rates really started to just rapidly increase. I remember our team meetings at the time where we're like, whoa, this was not, we thought, 25 basis points, like,
and then we're like,
and then it's like
1. I think the first one was a 1, and then 75.
It was ridiculous. So.
And then things kept obviously changing pretty quickly. But I mean, I guess I should. I can hear the camera like shutter going. Anyways, So the market goes down. You can hear it too. The market goes down, but at the same time, the rents start to skyrocket, and all of a sudden, for the first time in a couple of years, there's this like beautiful storm for investment properties that finally started to make sense again for the price to the interest ratio, or to the rent ratio.
And when was this?
I think it started kind of August. I'll jump back to my baby and stuff afterwards, but just in terms of like market and work and timing and everything, it really, like, I remember we had a listing. I think it was like the week of March 16th.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, that was when the news really started to come out with all the interest rate hikes. And it was an Ajax listing. And I noticed the stuff outside of the city kind of started to really grind to a halt quite quickly. But we were trying the offer date strategy. And in that week that we had it listed to the actual offer date, we had a handful, I think it was like 7 or 8 people that were like soft interested based on like my calls after they had shown the property. And then following up like day or two into the day of the offer date, every single one of their buyers was out.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Everyone within that period of time was like, super gonna make an offer, or like hard maybes,
Yeah.
but still like in the conversation, to nah, sorry, hard out. We're all waiting. Everyone's waiting. All of my clients are putting things on pause and work, like they're not even searching anymore. Not just your house, but like we're just stopping the search. And that stayed until things kind of stabilized. I think there was a little bit of trickle here and there where you could kind of grab a deal as people were like trying to dump stuff really quickly. But everything finally started to stabilize, I think, in, I don't know, it felt like August-ish is when the conversations were starting up again. And it was really good to have that kind of downtime to hang out with my daughter. And then as things started to pick back up, kind of you could feel it almost August, September. It feels like now we've just finished the last like push to the end of the year.
Yeah, things are starting to really slow down now.
This is
which is normal.
Second last week of November time frame. We've gone into like 4 to 5 new listings.
It feels like a slingshot right now.
Yeah,
It feels like things are pulling back a lot, meaning listings are not as many new listings, not as many sales. Things are selling for lower than I expected, but where they should probably be.
But the buyers are still like, they're waiting.
It's also seasonal. So that slingshot happens every year, and then January, mid-January, you see everything come out, guns a-blazing. That's what happened last year, right? Last year it was 20% within the first 2 weeks.
What's happened like every year since, at least like in recent memory, and this is super anecdotal, but like every year since 2017, it's been like the late November, December.
Yeah.
Slow. The inventory that's on, not much new inventory comes to market, but the inventory that's on the market, where you would only see like the top 10% of stuff getting sold. I have a big watch list of like mediocre properties that like they might be interesting if they got a price drop or if something changed. All of a sudden, all those properties start to disappear too.
Yeah.
As people like move down into just, okay, I'll take the mediocre so I can just get something because nothing new is showing up. And I think we're in that phase right now, and then into the new year. If there is no new volume, but those buyers are still interested, and there's no negative news catalyst to kind of keep things down, that's usually, we'll see a little bit of it.
It really depends on interest rates as well. I mean, I think, and now, I'm not going to try to predict anything with them. Who knows?
No crystal balls.
No crystal balls.
It's all a guess.
But
fundamentals.
It seems like the especially from mortgage brokers now, they do think we're at practically the highest we will be, give or take a percentage or so. I don't want to give out any exacts, but it seems like we're at near the high or at the high. Which can only mean that they are probably going to come down soon,
or at least stagnate,
or stagnate, which is very good. Because if they do stagnate,
stuff
exactly. So earlier this year, I remember, and with what we do, I mean, we know the city very well, the outskirts pretty well. But there's some pockets in the city that we are, experts at. Like we can use that term of expert. Knowing practically every street name and knowing all the sales, what's going on,
every listing as it comes up,
listings,
you know what it
everything
should sell for, what it probably will sell.
Yeah,
for,
and there are a handful of neighbors. I mean, Toronto's a huge city. Like there are if you're a realtor in a smaller outskirts city, you can know every single street in the city. There's 200,000 people that live there. In these little pockets, there are
big.
Sorry,
still pretty big.
They're still pretty big
by some standards.
Those are huge. No, it's a huge city, but you can know all of it more or less. We're talking about a city that has almost 3 million people now or something like that. And then the GTA is like what? You have Mississauga that has 1 million people. The Mississauga alone is a massive city, one of the biggest top couple cities in Canada. I want to say second biggest, but I think Montreal might be there, but it's really big. So there's a lot to know. What happened in the beginning of this year, or end of Q1, beginning Q2 is actually all throughout it, because during the up and during the down is every single week, if not every single day, you were having to do a new total analysis on the area, on the market, on the properties, because the prices were changing so quickly.
Everything changed. That every new listing, it was like day by day.
Yeah, it was everything. And usually you have that expertise you can rely on. You're doing more micro adjustments every day and being like, okay, this is what's currently out there. It's very similar to what's been this last couple months. And this is, you can predict, this is what I think the sales price is going to be, having conversations with agents, previous deals, time on market. This is all things that you can sort of, predicting how many other offers are going to be, dealing with 1 or 2 other offers on an offer date versus 20 or 30 is a
Yeah.
big difference. 20 or 30, you're throwing you're throwing everything in. You're saying this
Well,
is my best offer.
You don't
This
have a
is-
conversation. You're just here's the
here's-
number.
yeah,
Did I make the top cut? Is maybe your only other question.
yeah.
And then if you had any room left on the table, here's all of
And
my
it was
money, my firstborn child.
Literally, like the conversations you were having was, it wasn't within $5,000-10,000. There were no hints like that. It was you're off by 6 figures.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was really tough. And then the opposite happened when it was going down. It was, well, nobody's having offer dates anymore.
Yeah.
And now there's,
or they were, and then you just watch them flop. So
totally
colossally.
flop. Yeah, totally flop. Sellers still were holding out for prices. And what happened a lot throughout this summer, I think, is the lag. So people would list at the price of 3 months ago, and then they would update that a month later to the price of 3 months before that, which was different.
Exactly.
And then they would update a month later, and so on. And they were always chasing that high, and it would just going down, down, down. So a lot of properties, like we saw, were initially, I think, I picked one up for a client. It was originally listed for something like 1.8, and we picked it up for, close to 1.4.
Spectacular.
It was, it was really, really good. You picked one up just recently. One of the one of the best deals of the year. The 1.2,
like
from
1.5 and some change. I think,
and it was, and when people say, "Oh, can you cash flow?" I mean, yeah, you can still cash flow quite significantly. I mean, depending on the property. I think nowadays, more than a year or two ago when we were talking, mainly. I mean, now with the high interest rates, you're looking at probably breaking even is more. I would say more typical on the market. There are those cash flow deals of a few $100s that are. I think you should definitely look for if you're purchasing, depending on your, what really you're looking for. But they're definitely out there in the city of Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say there's some that are. That's kind of the average deal these days, but it is nice.
The average good deal. The average good deal.
Average good. I think you could do better.
Some. It's
some.
tough.
I don't want to like.
It's too broad of a statement, because the thing is, if you're, let's say, okay, so if I come to you and I have a $250,000 budget, and I can get a mortgage for $900,000, or a purchase price of $900,000. That's what I qualify for. I can't afford any renovations. You're not going to get this big cash flowing property. You need a big renovation budget. You need, which property are you talking about? Lightborn, you're doing $200,000 of renovations. That's what I'm saying. That's that's exactly what I'm saying. Is you can pick up those properties, but you need a lot of capital. So for the investor trying to pick up this is what I'm seeing. The first investment. They have a primary residence. They saved up money over the years. Maybe they refinanced their home, and now they're coming into the market. They don't have $400,000 to invest. If you have $400,000 to invest, I can find you a $1,000 cash flow property. All day. Well, not all day, because supplies.
That's still a very good deal. Like
it's a great deal.
4 figures, regardless of where on the price spectrum you are.
It's a great deal.
Sub like 1.5, let's say.
Yeah, if it's higher, it's different. But
like 3 units and under type of thing.
3 units and under, it's a really good deal. The issue now is that the supply is not really there, but when it comes up, it's still there. You can still pick those deals up. You need $330,000 minimum, a minimum. And I know this because I've run the numbers on a lot of our deals, and you've run the numbers as well, and that's the starting point of being really cash flow positive, which I mean is more than 700 a month. That's where you're looking for. But if you're just getting into the ball game, you're going to be around that break even point for sure. If you have $250,000, you're buying a bungalow, you're buying a semi-detached. They're going to be clean. They're going to be more or less turnkey. When I say turnkey, I mean under $15,000. Yeah, maybe
kitchen's barely that.
But not a kitchen, but it would be like maybe a new counter, new vanity in the bathroom, some paint, adding a bedroom. Then it adds up, but you're at $15K, $10K, and you're good to go. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now in the market.
I feel like we need an agenda for the next episode.
Well, no, we're just kind of catching up on this year. I mean, it's been insane. I think going forward, and that's one of the reasons we also didn't do the podcast this year, is it would have been tough. It would have been tough. It would have
just sounded like doom and gloom. Like at the beginning into the I don't know, all new news is just kind of doom and gloom. I mean, to be fair, we've been quite busy. We've obviously COVID didn't help. We both got very into our personal real estate business. portfolios were grown during that period of time as well, I believe.
Yeah.
We've all been busy. Dipped our toes into some other investment vehicles that didn't fare so well.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyone want to buy any JPEGs? No, nobody.
Yeah, that was
Right,
fun
cool.
for a little bit. Got made a lot of money, lost a lot of money.
Lost a lot of money just as quickly, if not faster.
Yeah.
That's okay. This is what happens when real estate gets too expensive and it doesn't make any sense for a period of time. But it was a good learning experience. And then now we're here. Yeah.
Now we're here. So
we're back.
I guess next steps here are, we're creating our new studio, as you can see. I mean, it's a blank wall. This is the original. Yeah, this is the original where we had one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in Canada history.
That shall not be named. But yes, that someone from some other province may or may not have. You can't call it that. First of all, that is alleged. I have no proof.
There is no proof.
We don't know anything. We just know that we talked to somebody, and good luck finding that episode anymore.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But that was the same. This was the room where we had those initial interviews, and
some other guests too.
Some other guests, Billy, a couple other people.
Monica was on.
Yeah, Monica. So yeah, we had some other guests, and same little room, different setup. Yeah. But I think
the office has gone a long way since then.
Yeah, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see a change. I mean, now Elevate's open. So before we didn't even have our actual home office of our real estate. This was the whole building's open. Cafe Daki's open. Yeah. So we have a coffee shop now. The real estate office is open. It's great. We're having the World Cup watch party there in a few. Now is 1 hour, I guess.
It's nice to have a real place to work from. It was. We're the whole come COVID, the company's growing. Everyone as an agent was kind of working from home, doing their own thing. A year and a half, 2 years in the basement dungeon doesn't do wonders for one's social life. It's really nice to have it's an incredible office. It's nice to have such a nice office, a nice place to come to work, and just such a cohesive environment. Things get done here. It feels good.
Yeah.
Which is why it's nice to have this here. It'll force us to kind of come here on a regular basis. Do these recordings, have these conversations, maybe we'll bring on some other people from the company to kind of talk about
introduce them,
their stories.
I think we should, because they're all very interesting.
Yeah,
everybody has a different background of what they were up to beforehand and what they've learned on the job. I mean, there's one story. I'm not going to spoil it. We'll see if he wants to come on, but there's a property manager in another property management position that saw some crazy shit. So some stuff. Yeah, maybe we'll get them on, share some property management stories, continue sharing some real estate stories from us, but also just hanging out and touching base. I think is the big thing.
I think that's more it. Before, when we first did it, it felt like it was very much we tried to have. Let's talk about the burr and all of its different steps, and more of a bit of an education.
Yeah, you can go back and watch those, and for the most part, they make sense. But
I mean, times change. I mean, we're not going to not be a real estate podcast in any aspect, but at the same time, it's not going to be full tilt real estate news and strategies. We were talking about what we're doing with the podcast moving forward. Oh, this would be a great time to cut in a commercial break.
Yeah,
Manscaped, if you want to sponsor us.
Cafe sponsored by Cafe Daki. So if you guys are in, hold on. All right,
what's happening?
I'm gonna do a quick.
Are we doing a commercial?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a plug for.
All right.
Cafe Daki. If you're in the Oakwood and St. Clair area, you want a cool Daki breeze, which is like a refreshing, cool drink. But you know what? It's cold outside. Maybe you want a hotter coffee, a tea, maybe some Greek pastries or some just a croissant, spanakopita, tiropita, anything like that. I put the little accent on there. I had to. Yeah. Stop by at 226 Oakwood Avenue, Cafe Daki. They've been open now for a few months. Stop by. Our office is right beside Elevate, 228 Oakwood Avenue. You guys can stop by. Yeah, say hi to us. Say hi and
Phil and the guy.
Phil and Spiro.
just the guy.
I have a name. Come and see it. I mean, the pastries are amazing. The coffee's really good, and everybody, the baristas are really nice. So I think definitely stop by.
Yeah.
Okay, so jump back into what were we saying?
Where were we? What is happening with the podcast moving forward?
People coming in. Okay, before we used to talk about
just all real estate. Before it was all here's a real estate investment strategy, and here's how you execute that strategy, and blah blah blah. That's all well and good. And there's lots of people.
It was great.
Yeah, and I think we'll still have some of that content sprinkled throughout. But I don't know. We have a really good time just sitting down, throwing a camera on, and shooting the shit. And I think there's a lot of little tidbits that can be kind of pulled out of that.
We talk for hours every day.
That's it. So like we're just gonna put a camera on while we shoot the shit for hours. We're gonna talk about some real estate shit. We're talking about some Toronto local shit in general, and a lot of other just stupid shit. Because it's entertaining, or at least I find it entertaining.
That's all that matters. To our 5 listeners who are probably family
my mom
members,
tells me it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's fine. It'll be fun. I think for us, you know what? There's so much. When we originally started, I don't believe there were many real estate podcasts in the city.
No,
I think we were one of the first.
Up.
They popped up now, and there's one. I think one of my friends just started in Windsor. Maybe I'll plug it next time when I have more information on it. But
medical.
No, another friend of mine, from university started one. He's been crushing it in Windsor, so
nice.
Maybe we can get him on or just at least plug him in because they're doing good stuff there.
We should figure out how to do this a little bit virtual to bring in some guests.
You know what? I think in real estate, one of the most important things is collaboration. So, us as agents, we have really good. I would say for the most part, there's always an asshole out there, but. For the most part, we have pretty good relationships with a lot of the agents in Toronto or in our area for sure, who we know very well, and that's how you get deals done. It's
100%.
Nobody wants to work with the asshole. Nobody wants to work with the guy that nobody
relationship likes. Relationship is important.
Yeah, it's really very important. So I think any collaboration with other realtors and people in the profession,
people in the industry,
that's exactly what's going to happen. I think, as Phil said. Real estate's great. We have a lot of information and a lot of knowledge on real estate. But I think if there's one thing I've learned in the last couple years, especially from all the experience that we both got, is that it's hard to generalize a strategy because everybody's scenario is different. Everything, everybody's wants and needs are different. Everybody's financial situation is different. It's hard for me to sit here and tell you, invest in this property only. This is the only. There is no one right way. There's a right way to get from point A to point B. But if you have everything, all your boxes checked already.
There's a model that I like. There's a model that you like that works, and there's a model that's so much different for all sorts of different people.
Yeah.
So it just
depends.
We'll talk about all sorts.
It depends.
Of stuff.
Yeah.
That's basically the gist.
I mean, we'll keep this one short. I think that's mainly it. We're just kind of dipping our toes. We're back. For anybody watching these and not listening, you'll see a lot of changes in our studio and in our sound and everything. We have the new mic setups. We have new lighting everywhere. It's like 100 degrees in here.
It's very
really
warm.
hot in this room.
A little air conditioner or something.
Yeah.
To feed us in here. I'm bloody dying. This Santa Claus.
I'm bloody dying, isn't it? We've been watching a lot of British shows. It's been a crazy couple years, but I'm excited for what the future is going to hold for us. I think for the real estate industry, I think we can see, hopefully some more stabilization. I think that's what everybody's looking for. It's not good when things go up 20%. It's not good when things go down 20%. I think we're hitting that level where it's a little bit easier to predict now.
Yeah, especially at least in what we work with, right? I think the broader market might have a different approach, and this is kind of going back to your strategies thing. We work in a very specific subsection of a very specific market, and we do a very specific thing, and that it is small multifamily kind of rental properties. There's a mathematical based floor to the price, right? That's starting to kind of set itself in a little bit. Whereas an end user market that's up in the mid to high million range might have a little bit further to go because there isn't that rent support or anything like that.
It's all about qualification at that point.
And the qualification is still getting hammered down a little bit, and there's no rents that are climbing to kind of help support that. But I mean, in general, I think I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go crystal ball.
No,
who knows?
I just did.
Who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm the guy that's like, listen, I'm not going to say anything, but here's my hot take. No,
it's not a financial advisor.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for joining us. I think
that was fast.
It's a quick little podcast right now. I think It'll be better. We're going to have more people on. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited to be back.
2023, the year of Phil and the Spiro.
The Spiro. Maybe that's the name. Phil and the Spiro. Let's go. And Spain just beat Costa Rica.
Oh, wait.
7-0. That was brutal.
7-0?
Yeah, that's a good way to end it. See you guys later.
Costa Rica.